Hello everyone and welcome back to the High Council. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest transmissions from Atomic Mass Games, starting off here by looking at Plo Koon and Padawan Ahsoka Tano for Star Wars Shatterpoint. So before we get in, do check out the other Star Wars Shatterpoint content on the channel. If you're liking it, please leave a like and subscribe over to the channel. Let me know your thoughts down below if you're excited to see Plo Koon. Obviously this is the Ahsoka that came out for some people on release day as well, so for some this might be the first time that they're getting their hands on it, but for some other people who might have been playing it for 6 or 7 months now. So yeah, if this is your first time, let me know down below, but let's get straight on over to it. So Jedi Master Plo Koon and Padawan Ahsoka Tano preview. So I'm really excited to get Plo Koon on the table. I haven't had a look yet, but I think he would probably synergize quite nicely with some clones. So let's have a little look. So in this preview, we're taking a look at wise and influential Jedi Master Plo Koon and a young Padawan Ahsoka Tano, who was responsible for discovering for the Jedi Order. So Plo served on the ill-fated Last Jedi High Council before its tragic fall to Order 66 in the final years of the Galactic Republic. He was counted among its most thoughtful and respected members, proving himself an able general in dozens of battles. So we've got a bit more spiel there about them both, but we want to get straight into cards is what we want to look at. So here we've got Jedi Master Plo Koon's card. So he is 8 squad points, bringing 3 force with him, and he's Jedi Master Plo Koon and Plo Koon primary units. He's got 4 abilities altogether. He's got a tactic, active, reactive, and an identity ability. But before we start there, he has a stamina of 10, a durability of 3, and then has the tags Force User, Galactic Republic, and Jedi. And as I said, I think he might synergize quite nicely with Troopers, based purely on what I know of him from watching things like the Clone Wars. So let's have a look. So the first tactic ability there, I know if we work together, we will stay alive. At the start of this unit's activation, choose an allied Galactic Republic unit. Each character in the chosen unit may dash. Then if the chosen unit was a Trooper or a Padawan, one character in this unit may dash. So yeah, very nice. You're going to be getting a free dash out to an entire unit, so not just one character. So again, you know, if you're using these on clones as an example, you're going to get 2 clones with a dash and then Plo with a little dash as well. Obviously, you don't have to use it on Troopers or Padawans. You can just use it on any Galactic Republic unit, but using it on one of those 2 tags then gives him that beneficial dash as well. And then the next 2 abilities are nothing new that we haven't seen before. So we've got the first one, an active ability, Force Push, costing 2 force. This is the exact same as what a Sarge Ventress has got. So choose an enemy character in this unit and an enemy character within range 3 of that character. The chosen enemy character is pushed range 3 away from the chosen allied character. It's a very nice piece of maneuverability. Clear someone off an objective, or get them out of the way, or push them out of engagement range, anything like that. Very, very cool. And then we've got the reactive ability, Deflect. So after a ranged attack targeting a character in this unit is resolved, this unit may use this ability. If the attack roll contained 1 or more failures, the attacking unit suffers 2 damage. So again, nothing that we haven't seen before on a couple of different Jedi and lightsaber wielders. So very cool. 2 very cool abilities, I think, there. And then finally, we've got our identity ability. We can do this the simple way or the difficult way. So while this unit is not wounded, when another allied Galactic Republic character within range 3 is targeted by an attack, this unit may gain the exposed condition. If it does, the defending character may use this unit's defensive expertise shot during the attack. Then, after the attack is resolved, if the defending character was a Trooper or a Padawan, one character in this unit may dash toward the attacker. So we haven't looked at his defensive expertise yet to see if it's going to be beneficial or not, but I'm guessing based on the fact that clone troopers don't have great defensive expertise, and in fact none of the other troopers really have any sort of expertise that you're going to want to use, using this might be quite beneficial. However, he does then gain the exposed condition, so it is a bit of a 50-50. But if you know that you're going with Plo Koon next, or actually the exposed condition isn't going to affect you that much, because he's either well hidden or he's on a different elevation or anything like that, it might be really beneficial. And then obviously, lastly there, if that defending character was a trooper or a Padawan, Plo Koon then gets a free dash towards the attacker. So then when they're getting into that melee range, let's have a look if it says anything on here. So, nothing new in that paragraph, but then let's have a look here at these combat trees and stance guards. So, we've got two different ones there. Form 5 Gemso and then Form 3 Saruso. Both looking, particularly nasty first instance. A lot of icons everywhere, so a lot of icons down the combat tree, a lot of icons across his expertises as well. And then, so if we start with that Form 5 Gemso, which probably looks the more aggressive of the two, given that we're rolling 7 dice instead of 5. So neither of them are ranged attacks, so he's got to be engaged and in melee. So no range attack, but then in that Form 5, he is going to be rolling 5 dice defensively against range attacks himself, and then 7 dice offensively if he is engaged in melee, and 5 dice defensively in melee as well. If we start looking down that combat tree there, we'll start with the expertise. So that melee expertise, 1 is going to become 1 crit, 2 is becoming 2 crits, and 3+ is becoming 2 crits and auto damage, which again we like. Big fan of auto damage. And then we've got that tenacious defense as his expertise. So 1 to 2 is becoming 2 blocks, 3 is becoming 2 blocks and a heal, and then 4+ is becoming 2 blocks, a heal, and a free jump as well. But then we go down that combat tree. So we have 2 choices to start from. We either start at the top with 2 damage and the pinch condition, or we start at the bottom with 2 damage and a jump. Before we make whatever we start on, we're then moving into 1 damage and a shove, before we have another choice there of either going up to the top for 3 damage or coming down to the bottom for 1 damage and 2 heals, and then going back into the middle there for using an active ability, finishing off with either a choice again, 2 damage or 1 damage and a reposition, for a total of I think 8 damage is possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 damage possible in total on this side. Obviously, something to keep mind of is that if you use that active ability, so that active ability can only be used on that force push. That second ability down. And if Plo has already used it once this turn, he can't use the same ability twice. So that's something just to consider if you think you're going to get that force push off. And it might be a case of, do you know what, the whole plan is we want to focus, then we want to attack, because we want to try and roll into those 4 successes, so we can then use that force push to completely clear out the enemy that we've just absolutely battered and bruised and put on a load of damage. But you can see there how that defensive expertise, even on that side, is probably going to be better off than the clone side, or a Padawan side. But we'll get into Ahsoka after we finish looking at Plo Koon. If then go on to his Form 3 Saruso, so the other side, probably the most defensive of the sides. So exactly the same, there is no range attack for him, but he is going to be rolling 6 dice defensively against both range attacks and melee attacks this time. And he's only rolling 5 dice offensively in this form. So this is really the form where you're either wanting to make use of that defensive expertise, or you're trying to fend off as much damage as possible. If we look at his expertise, so here we've got 1 to 2 becoming 2 hits, 3 becoming a crit and a hit, and then 4+ becoming a crit and 2 hits. So although we have got the ability to have more hits in total coming from his expertise on this side, the fact that we only get the 1 crit available, and that 1 crit becomes available at 3 expertise, isn't as obviously great as his Form 5 side. But then his tenacious defense in Form 3, 1 to 2 is becoming 2 blocks, 3 becomes 2 blocks and then turn a crit to a hit, and then 4+ becomes 2 blocks, turn a crit to a hit and a crit to a fail. And this is where you're probably going to be wanting to use it with your clones. If they've got hunker tokens, they're rolling more dice. They've got cover, they're rolling more defensive dice. The chances you get that 3 or 4 expertise become a lot higher, and can really impact on someone quite significantly if you think that the clone is going to become a bit of a soft target for them. If we then look at his combat tree, so he is starting off with 2 damage, followed by a damage and a heal, followed by a damage, a shove, and a jump. And then we have the only choice to make. We either go up to the top for a damage and a disarmed condition, or we come down to the bottom for a heal, a shove, and a damage. And then depending on which route we've gone, if we go up that top, we then finish off with a pinned, a shove, and a damage as well. Or if we come down that bottom, we're going to do an extra 2 damage and the heal. So maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage on this side. So it's still only 5 steps down the tree. So both sides are both going to be 5 in total. Chances are you're probably going to hit it more in that form 5. But on this side, you can also whack out a load of conditions if you take that entire top route. You're giving out the pinned and the disarmed versus potentially just the pinned on that left side form 5. So that is Plo Koon. Nothing too new has come out. I think his card has been revealed for a little while. And then we'll look at Ahsoka. So Ahsoka is someone who's, again, been available since day one. If your store was or where you bought it from had a pre-order bonus, Ahsoka was what came with that. So she has got 1 tactic ability, an active ability, and then 2 reactive abilities. But she's going to be 4 points cost, and then Ahsoka Tano, a secondary unit. So obviously you can't run Padawan Ahsoka with the Ahsoka from the core set, who is the primary, because obviously they've got that same unique name in there in Ahsoka Tano. She is then coming with 8 stamina, a 2 durability, and has the tags Force User, Galactic Republic, Jedi, and Padawan. So all of these Plo Koon abilities that say Padawan can then be used to affect her as well. So starting with that tactic ability, at the start of this unit's activation, choose an allied Galactic Republic primary unit or an allied Jedi primary unit. 1 character in the chosen unit may dash. Yeah, very, very straightforward. You're giving that free dash. Probably to, I don't think there is a Galactic Republic primary that's not a Jedi. Actually, apart from the Queen won't be. But otherwise, I think they're all. It's basically going to be any of your primary units that you're taking with Padawan Ahsoka. We've then got active ability. She is fearless, costing 1 force. So each character in this unit may jump, and this unit may use this ability 2 times during its activation instead of the normal 1. So she can get out a double jump if she needs to. Very cool. Lots of maneuverability on her. And then we've got Deflect as her first reactive ability, exactly the same as what we've seen on Plo Koon. So after a range attack targeting character in this unit is resolved, it may use this ability. If the attack roll contains 1 or more failures, the attacking unit suffers 2 damage. And then finally, we've got Getting Ahead of Yourself Again snips that last reactive ability. So after an allied Galactic Republic supporting unit within range 3 makes the combat action, this unit may use this ability. 1 character in this unit may jump. They then may make a 5-dice melee attack targeting one of the same enemy characters within range and line of sight. So again, she's got absolutely super amounts of maneuverability here. You're pairing them up with the clones, which you're probably going to take as your supporting unit. And you want to keep Snips around so that she can benefit from that free jump, free melee attack. Just absolutely doubling down on someone. Because it's after your clones have done an attack, or your other Galactic Republic supporting unit have done an attack, she's then going to jump in, swing with that 5-dice attack as well. So that is Padawan Ahsoka's card, and then she's only got this 1 stance card as well, so Jarkai. So she is, again, it's a fully melee attack, so no ranged offense, but it's going to roll 5 dice defensively. And then in melee, she's going to roll a whopping 7 attack dice and then 5 defensive dice as well. If we look at her expertise, she's got 1 to 3 is becoming 2 hits, 4 is becoming 2 crits, and 5 plus is becoming 2 crits and a hit. And then defensively, 1 to 2 is going to become 2 blocks, and then 3 plus is becoming 2 blocks and a jump. Again, making the most of that maneuverability piece. And we'll see as we get down a combat tree here, there's so much more maneuverability coming. So we've got a choice to make at the start. We either start at the top, and we either go for 1 damage and a shove, followed by a jump and a damage, followed by an exposed and a damage. And then the first choice to make, where she either goes down into that middle there for 2 heals, which would end her tree, or she stays along that top for a damage, a shove, followed by a potential final 2 damage and a shove. Or we come along that bottom row for 1 damage and a heal, followed by 2 damage and a reposition, followed by the strange condition, and then from there we can either go up into the middle for the 2 heals, which would end her tree, or 2 damage, followed by 2 damage and then a shove as well. So she's got the total to about 7 damage in total. Again, making the most of that maneuverability. 3 shoves if you go along that top tree in full. A jumps in there as well. Or we come along that bottom for a complete reposition. She's an absolute menace to fly around the battlefield and zip there, here, there and everywhere. So that is everything for these two, Padawan Ahsoka and Plo Koon. Should be releasing next Friday here in the UK, so I think the 16th should be the day they hit the stores. But yeah, I'm excited to get Plo Koon. I like this the pose that the model is in. I think that probably looks like something quite iconic for a Plo Koon from what I've seen, or the bits I can remember of him from shows like the Clone Wars. So yeah, that was everything. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you if you're still here for checking it out. And then check out the other Shatterpoint content, and we'll see you in the next video.